Hello there. What is going on, Legion players? The Imperial Remnant has some brand new information, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. Lots of very specific details that can get you in the frame of mind to start building your Imperial Remnant battle forces today. This is exciting, folks. There's a lot of new rules for these guys. AMG did a live stream last night, and they talked about a lot of things, not just this battle force. There's other details in here coming as things referencing to Ewoks and another battle force that's also coming out, Tempest Force. Talking about Commander Cody a little bit. A lot of really cool Dark Troopers clarifications, a lot of really cool stuff. We're going to talk about all of that in today's video. A little bit of admin stuff real quick before we get into the specifics, because it's very cool specifics, and I want to talk about it with you guys. A little admin stuff. We're doing a giveaway for a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. That's going to run for a couple more days, so you guys still got time left for that. Also, if you guys are new here to the channel and haven't clicked on our Discord links, if you haven't joined our Discord, love to have you guys do that. Links for that, Crabbok.com for the Legion AI system. All that stuff is all in the video description below. Also, want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. You've heard me talk about them before. They're absolutely amazing. They are the best tokens you are going to find. They're absolutely fantastic. They're metal, they're shiny, they're gorgeous, they're double-sided. You've got like twos on the back of the suppression, so you can just flip one over instead of having to get another card. Get your cardboard tokens out there and stuff. Amazing. There's some brand new tokens too, so if you've already got some, check them out. If you're wanting to run lots of Dark Troopers, for example, and you've already got some of the your tokens from a different set or whatever, like you can just add extra heavies in here and just like supplement your collection. If the game changes and you might need 9 core next year or whatever, you can always just come back and just add one more instead of having to buy a whole new set. So it's very future proofed. It's a beautiful token set. You're gonna love them, and you're gonna save 15% by using code Crabbok VIP. So head over to luxuryplaystyle.com, check them out. All right, so MAF Gideon is releasing on February 17th, and he is going to be bringing with him a new PDF print and play for all of the Imperial Remnant battle force. Now, I say print and play. I don't think you're really going to have to print much to play, because there's no new command cards that are coming with this. It's actually got just special rules. Not only does it got a special force org chart, it has this weird set of rules that we are like kind of outside of the box on what we've seen before. One thing that's particularly weird about these guys is range 2 is super important for this battle force. Range 2 is not just Moff Gideon's like ruthless range and he's got a range 2 gun and things like that. No. Range 2 is the maximum range that you can use to issue orders under normal circumstances. There are different, there's always types of upgrades and things that can, comm links and things like that. There's always some kind of way to find a way to circumvent that. But that's the base range. Normally it's range 3. Here it's range 2. Not only that, anybody who is outside of range 2 that you couldn't issue an order, they're going to gain independent aim or dodge. How cool is that? So now if somebody's off by themselves, in the idea here is this is really great. Just a really great way to capture thematics is that Moff Gideon is sort of representing, when he's running the Imperial Remnant, he's representing, hey, I've got a smaller sphere of influence. The influence is shrinking. This is post-collapse of the Empire, right? Post Battle of Endor. I got to keep my troops really close to secure their loyalties. Guys that get too far away, they're going to be out in the open, and now they get a little bit of a benefit from that. Hey, they can't be issued orders right now, but they gain independent, aim or dodge, which is very cool. That could be, you could work that to your advantage. But there's another downfall to being outside of range 2 is you can't use your commander's courage value to check against panic if you are outside of range 2. The maximum panic value by default here is range 2, which means maybe if you're running this battle force, you're going to be taking battle cards like War Weary, like, hey, I'm already down to like using range 1 or 2 anyway, so it'll hurt me less than it'll hurt my opponent. I think that's going to be a pretty cool thing. And so you've got some things like that, but there's other really weird stuff, and it's a way to mess with core. And I think this is just so cool. They have some different core requirements, and what it is during list building and during list building only, both scout troopers and death troopers get to be treated as core for list building. Now you can't use snow troopers, but you still have your basic 4 core options of the shore troopers, your regular storm troopers, your death troopers, and your scout troopers. Right now, death troopers and scout troopers are still gonna be special forces. You're still gonna use a special forces token for them. They're still gonna be counted as special forces for during in-game effects, but only during list building to meet your core minimums. You can count those guys as core. I like that idea a lot because that's a great way to, and I'm future-proofing here. I'm thinking about I still want that Wookiee battle force, right? And instead of having to change Wookiees to core, just let them count as core during list building, right? So I love what they've done here. That's a really cool option because you can still use stormtroopers if you want, but here's the thing. So you can't just say, oh, I need to stack death troopers and scout troopers. I want to stack all death troopers. I want to run 6 death troopers because they count as core. No, before you can take multiples of any of these core units, you have to have at least one of each. So if you want to run core heavy, if you want to go heavy on the core, you're going to have at least 1 scout, at least 1 stormtrooper, at least 1 death trooper, at least 1 shore trooper. And once you've got those 4, then you can start adding multiples. So that's such an interesting and very different way to approach list building. And I'm not going to lie, I think that's super groovy. That is just a totally different way to build a battle force. And it's a way for you to kind of have only maybe 2 of the types of core that you might have had before. Right? I could probably get by with hey, I only have to have 1 stormtrooper and 1 shore trooper. Then I can have some special forces, but I won't be able to run 4 death troopers that way, though. That's one of the things. I'm not going to be able to run 4 death troopers that way because, I'd still have to have a scout trooper in there. That's going to, and so, still it's very cool. They don't have the full, the 100% of the Force org chart, but that's the generally the summary of it that they talked about in the Twitch stream yesterday. So that's really cool. And there's another thing about a lot of these heavies, right? Heavy weapons for stormtroopers and for scout troopers and death troopers and for the shore troopers. Your heavy weapon options they lose their requirement of this unit only. So I can take a DLT stormtrooper and put him in a scout trooper unit, or I can take that scout sniper and put him in a death trooper unit. And I think that's just so cool. It's just so cool. Now there's some things that I don't 100% know, all of the unique upgrades that are going to be allowed, because there's a unique death trooper like DTF-16, whatever, that has compel, and it's a super super cool thing. That one might not be allowed. I don't think that hasn't been confirmed yet. I think we're gonna have to wait and see on certain stuff like that. And when you put heavy into another unit, they were also talking about how putting a heavy into another unit doesn't mean that you get the parent unit stuff. So if I take a Death Trooper's DLT, right, it's that range 4 gun, it's really nice, and I put that in a Stormtrooper, or let's say I put it in a Scout Trooper, right? The Scout Troopers have they only have white saves, right? Well, he's still going to gain the statistics of the parent unit, so he would then have white saves. He's not going to gain red saves like a Death Trooper would get, right? And things like that. So they still count as hey, you're going to have to put the Scout Trooper armor on to come over here, but so that's just such a cool way to look at stuff. And I think it's a clever way to look at the mechanic of I'd love to take some of these heavies and mix and match them and have fun with it. And we're okay, well, here's a balanced way you can mix and match, have that fun, and in a limited sandbox. So I love it. I love it. Now, it's only those. I don't believe that you'll be able to put your all those heavies in the Dark Troopers, because don't forget, Dark Troopers will I'm almost certainly will be included in the Battleforce. But they've actually said that you'll be able to allow to take Dark Troopers, but they're not core and they're not included in those groups that can just homogenize and mix all of their heavies. So, but you'll be able to take. We know you'll be able to take Moff Gideon. We know you'll be able to take generic Imperial officers. Apparently, also, we know that you won't be able to take mercenaries. You will be able to take the Darksaber though. So that's like I think the only unique upgrade we know of that you can take. So like just really really cool stuff. I was talking about Dark Troopers too. Let's talk about some of the other things that they've talked about with this live stream, because there's just a lot of like Q&A, and it's like such a heavy stream that was full of information. It was useful information. And by the way, Andrew Dursum and Dallas Kemp were playing, and it was one of Dallas's. Dallas is still learning the game, and so it's really cool to see Dallas Kemp out there playing Legion too, like more of the AMG team playing Legion. So well done, AMG folks. So good job with that. But I would, things that you've seen in the show kind of make sense here. You could take 2 supports. You could take the speeder bikes and the E-Webs. Of course, E-Web was going to be a good one, right? Of course, we wanted to see that. You're not going to be able to take Mercs. You're not going to be able to take Snow Troopers. You're not going to be able to take like Inferno Squad. Also, when I say you can take Scout Troopers, which is a thing, people don't really use Scout Trooper like full units very much anymore. This will be a time to use Scout Trooper full units, almost kind of forcing you to use at least one, right? You cannot take the strike teams. The strike teams are off limits. You need a full Scout Trooper unit, and this is so interesting to me because the Scout Trooper full unit, I never really thought they were bad, especially if you get them at pretty close range. And here's a thing that probably wants a lot of their stuff to be at fairly close range. That's super cool. It's a kind of an excuse, a forcing function to get you to start looking at using Scout Troopers for the full unit again, especially since you can put a lot more different heavy options on them. By the way, Scout Troopers happen to have some really cool heavy options. How about those Saboteurs? I mean, And I'm going to be curious to see if there's like a limit, because wait a second, could I run 6 Saboteurs in a list? Like if I put the heavy from the Scout Trooper Saboteur, if I put them in a Stormtrooper, sounds awesome. Like Stormtroopers Saboteurs with like red saves on the Saboteurs. Like I love that. How cool is that? Oh, that sounds really cool to me. I think there's so many possibilities. Right? I'm like, ooh, list building with this is going to be super cool. This whole Battleforce is going to be coming out. February 17th is a pending date, right? That's when Gideon and I believe Dark Troopers are all coming out together. So when they come out, you're gonna get the PDF instructions and the full Ramalama Ding Dong for this. I don't think that's what they called it, but that's what I'm calling it right now. You're getting the full drop for the Battleforce. So very exciting stuff coming from Atomic Mass Games with this. We also learned a little bit about another Battleforce that's going to be coming for the Empire also, because we know Ewoks are coming out right later this year. And when the Ewoks come out, there'll be a Tempest Force, which is another Imperial. That's like the imps that were stationed on Endor, that entire legion of his finest troops. So that will also be coming out. So like Imperial players are getting some love. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a second, are we getting other battle forces here? Because I'm really wanting that Wookiee. And let me know down in the comments what other battle forces you want to see come out beyond, because they also said they have a lot more battle forces planned. And that's exciting, especially looking at what they've done here. Is so cool. They don't have to do special command cards for every battle force. They can, but they don't have to. Right? And it's like a really cool way to like look at units that maybe don't get enough love and say, hey, let's do something thematic. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Rogue One based battle force, even though I don't know if Rogue One units really need a special battle force. I think they do pretty well, but I really want to see a Wookiee battle force. I just think that'd be so awesome. And maybe it will be more feasible once Ewoks come out, because maybe you should be able to mix some Wookiees and Ewoks and make that whole thing work. And Gar has been hurt lately, and I kind of want to do a video where I sit down and I talk about Gar, because I feel like they're in some ways kind of struggling right now. Maybe not as bad as some people say, but they've been hurt a lot over the last year or two, and they might get some good stuff. So we know Commander Cody's coming out soon. They talked a little bit about Cody. The little thing is that basically his command cards are going to have some brand new tech, stuff that hasn't happened yet, stuff that we haven't seen. That doesn't tell us a whole lot, but that's kind of exciting. Of course, granted, you could take it multiple ways. You could be like, well, every command card that's new is something we haven't seen. And I don't think that's what they're saying. I don't think it's just going to be like, oh, he gets, a name token and relentless and, like things like that. I mean, maybe there will be one that does that. But I think they're trying to suggest that Cody's command cards could potentially be a game changer. And while that's cool, that also is a little worrisome for me, because it's like, wait a second. If his command cards are that good, how will I ever take anybody else? Like, I'll have to run. Am I going to have to run Cody in 100% of my Republic lists now? Right. So, is it going to be that good, or could it also be accompanied by other things to help Gar? Maybe another Battleforce could be something else that helps Gar, but I still want Gar. When I say Gar, I'm using GAR, the acronym for basically the Republic in Clone Wars, Galactic Army of the Republic. I realize I've been saying Gar a couple of times, and I'm not sure if everybody knows that, but I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm like, I really hope that whatever Cody does, it's cool, but it's not like overpowered, and then you like got to run Cody in every list. I would love for Cody to breathe new life into a lot of different lists, but I don't want him to be an auto include. So that's kind of on my wish list for that, but we'll see. And as it comes out, and it gets spoiled, we'll be breaking that down and talking all about it. Last thing I want to say, and I think I haven't said it yet, the Dark Troopers are going to be receiving, there's going to be some errata, not specifically to Dark Troopers, but specifically to the specialists that had come out to better future-proof them. Basically, in short, you're not going to be able to take an Imperial officer in a Dark Trooper unit. You're not going to be able to take the Imperial comms tech in a Dark Trooper unit. Those, and I think a lot of us guessed that because, like, the fact that there was an Imperial Dark Trooper mini that's a personnel, like, that's cool. I mean, the fact that they didn't make it just another heavy is also interesting, but like the fact that they made it a personnel kind of suggests that maybe there will be other personnel that can go in them at some point. Who knows? But yeah, so it's very interesting to me that they're going to be doing that. So what I think we're going to probably see is an errata. They said we'll see an errata to those personnel cards. I imagine they'll be allowed to go in all the stuff they can go in right now. Sans Dark Troopers, because Dark Troopers aren't out yet. So I imagine you'll still be able to put all the Imperial stuff in existing Imperial core units, they probably don't even have to open it up to Special Forces. There's no Special Forces currently that can take personnel. So that's, there you go. They'll probably have to errata. They're probably better off just going ahead and errataing everything, even like the Gar stuff and the Rebel stuff too. The Separatist CIS stuff is definitely going to have to get errata, because those are their only restriction is Droid Trooper, and since the Dark Troopers happen to also be Droid Troopers, all that Separatist stuff might otherwise be able to go in there also. And of course, some of them are like 6 points. I don't think you want to be adding minis to this unit for only 6 points, right? So anyway, still pretty cool. I kind of await the future. I'm very excited to see more, and we're about a month out from or less than a month out from all of this stuff coming out. So we're probably going to see more previews, and we've, of course, Asajj Ventress is coming, Ahsoka is coming, tons more, lots of news. Shatterpoint information is coming out too. Hopefully we'll get some more X-Wing and Armada information and news too. It's going to be a big year for news. So stay tuned. If you like what you see, hopefully you stick around. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely crucial in helping this channel continue to produce content. So thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you all later. May the Force be with you, and this is the way.